one belief eliminated from your brain could change the course of your reality. Would you want that? It's not for everyone, only the brave. Those who want to own their life like the powerful leaders they were born to be. A pivotal moment can change everything. Now, here's the host of Crossroads to Awakening show, Wendy Paquette.
Hello, and welcome everyone to the Crossroads to Awakening show. I am Wendy Paquette. I am your hostess with the mostest, and I'm bringing you the most amazing humans on the planet to bring you to the space where you can awaken to your greatest self inside here. I am a holographic mind reprogrammer. What I do is help people, women particularly, stuck at a crossroads to awaken to their true selves and change the world from where they stand. Because I believe, as a high-frequency human, you see your reality, your life, as a direct reflection of the programs that are etched into your brain, those things that we pick up when we're younger or all along, things that we've decided. And that gives us the filter that we see our reality through. And if you're not liking it, that can be changed. It can easily be shifted. That's what my zone of genius is and my gift on this earth. And I do it every single day. So when you see your truth for what it is, you will 100% know what gets to shift and what doesn't, and that's what we're here for. So if you want to access your true self and see yourself in your reality, come find me on Facebook at the @ Crossroads to Awakening show and connect with me anywhere you like. I'm totally here to support you in achieving that. So thank you for being here from wherever you're listening from in the world. Today, I have the most incredible episode prepared for you. It is called the High Vibe Health series. This is a high vibe health. This is everything along the way in Crossroads to Awakening to raise your frequency so that you can live your best life now. Not wish you had it, think you got, the raw deal, but actually have the life you've always wanted right now. And that's just getting things out of the way. So one of the things that I know to be true is that your health is 100% at the forefront. So when the health is at front of the forefront, you can't do anything without your health. Like, honestly, try to do anything while you're feeling crappy. It just does not work. So what we get to do is see how we can raise our frequency and step into a place where we could see, feel, and experience our life from a healthier aspect. So today I have the most incredible guest. She is a friend. I call her a dear friend. Actually, I absolutely adore her. We've done a lot of training together, some beautiful experiential leadership training, and what she is and what she does in the world is absolutely incredible. She supports high vibe humans into stepping into their greatest self with their bodies, their minds, their spirits, and their souls. She's Summer Peterson. And Summer Peterson, she's a writer, a vlogger, a coach, an entrepreneur, and the host of a TV show, Wine Country Weight Loss with Summer Peterson. She's a weight loss expert who specializes in teaching clients how to speed up their metabolism and burn off all of their unwanted body fat. It's incredible. And I come from a space of always having that in my mind. So I want to say welcome, Summer. Welcome to the show.
Yay. Thank you, Wendy. So happy to be here finally.
Yay. I'm so excited to have you. This is a topic that I probably was avoiding for a really long time because I had one of those bodies that would do whatever I wanted. I was an athlete when I was younger. And so anytime I wanted to shed some pounds, if I exercised even a little bit, it would come right off. So I didn't allow myself to understand the value of an ongoing conscious awareness of food, how I eat, when I eat, and what I eat. And what you've taught me is all of those things. Just you being you and you showing up as you has shown me exactly what I get to look at. Excuse me. And how I get to see myself in the mirror, not just as, I'm just in this vessel and I'm just creating from this vessel and I'm not actually paying attention to it. It just does what I want. To, you know what, I own, adore, and appreciate this vessel and I get to treat it with the utmost respect in those areas and be highly conscious of what I'm choosing. And that leads right into high vibe health, because what high vibe health to me is is how we support our frequency in continuous raising. Getting up there into the frequencies where the lower frequencies drop off and the higher frequencies support you in a spiritual journey, in an energetic journey, in a creative and manifestive way. And you embody that. And I absolutely can't wait to share your zone of genius with the world. So, Summer, how about you tell the world like who you are, how you got to where you're at, like what you're up to, and yeah, let's start with that. So
okay,
who are you, girl?
So fun. Who am I? I am a mom. I am a wife. I'm a woman who lives in the Northern California wine country in Sonoma County. And similar to you, I grew up with an abundance of food and wine all around. Even as a child, it was just very common to see wine around, and you can have sips of your mom's and dad's wine and eat lots of food. We're known for our wine and world-renowned food, and so this culture of food and wine is just in my DNA. And I was a thin young woman, and when I was in my late 20s, it all caught up to me pretty quickly, where interestingly, I'd like to note that when I was a little girl, my mom always said that she could eat anything and do whatever she wanted until she turned 30, and then her metabolism slowed down and she gained 30 pounds and she couldn't get it off. And so I had that story in the back of my mind, but I never thought I would live that reality. And sure enough, when I turned, it was about 29, I think it was 29, the pounds just like piled on my body. And in like a year, like 30 pounds came out of nowhere, and I could do nothing to get it off. And it was like devastating to the ego, right? And just as women, as we know how much our body represents who we are in the world, and I'm not implying that it should be that way, but it was definitely one of those ego things that needed to be attended to. And I would also just really like to note right there that I'm such a firm believer that body, mind, spirit, emotions cannot be separated. And so we can't get so fed into just one, because if not all of them are really vibrating on the high level that you're wanting, the other ones just can't vibrate at their highest potential without you attending to all of them. So it was really a gift to me to actually be able to be forced to really look at what I was putting in my body in terms of probably too much alcohol, certainly too much sugar. And it took me a few years to figure that out, Wendy. And I got pregnant about 5 years later, but I was living in an overweight body when I got pregnant. And so that 30 pounds of excess body weight became 80 pounds of excess body weight that needed to be lost after the birth of my first son. And that's when I got really serious about attending to my physical health. I was in a lot of pain because I was inflamed, and so I was in chronic pain at that point. My body was just very angry. And so the pain ended up being the feedback, Wendy, where if I was eating certain foods, I would have pain. For me, it manifested in my hip, my right hip. I have hip dysplasia in my right hip. And when I took out certain foods, very low vibration foods, we're talking sugar, we're talking processed carbohydrates, and really alcohol. I can do just a small amounts of alcohol. Taking out those foods really raised my vibration. I felt good. I got pain-free, and the weight just dropped off. And I was back to my high school body weight before I got pregnant with my second child. It just fell off. And wow. I did a combination of shifting my diet and also incorporating intermittent fasting, which is also a really phenomenal way to kind of raise your vibration. If we're going to be using that terminology on your show, which is kind of fun to be able to do. Intermittent fasting is just a phenomenal way to, give your body a break from the digesting and to get you really set powerful intentions with fasting to really expedite projects. For instance, I sat down to a 3-day fast to write my book. And I wrote that book in 4 months, and it was a bestseller. 4 months later, it ended up on the bestseller list. And it was just, as a mom of 2 kids in the house, I mean, I had very little help with, I don't have a nanny. And so I was really just on fire, but it wasn't just the fasting. It wasn't just the what I put in my mouth. It was also daily meditation and putting, visualization, even with, colors going through my body and just really recharging my body every day, to really strengthen, my intentions every day. And I was just on fire writing that book, and it was a joyous process for me.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the book that you brought it up. I absolutely love it. It's called The Sexy Diet. I mean, yeah. I know you, and the sexy diet isn't what it says it is, and it is, and it isn't. It's all of the above. So let's talk about what that sounds like. To me, I was attracted right away. I'm like, the sexy diet, yes, please. And
yes, please.
What it actually is, yeah, yes, please. What it sounds like is amazing, and what it actually is equally, if not more than, amazing in itself. So let's talk about that. What is the sexy diet? Let's tell the listeners, what the sexy diet is and how they could just reach out, grab your book, and start learning right away. Because you have all kinds of ways that people can get in touch with you. But let's talk about the book. Tell us about the sexy diet.
This book is a great way to start. It's available on Amazon. And the word sexy, it was really just me writing the book and deciding that I wanted to have a really simple acronym for my 4-part weight loss system. And let's just be really clear. I could have chosen any acronym and made it work. Like, I could have called it the fart diet, right? You and I have joked about this before. And it probably wouldn't have become a bestseller if I had named it the fart diet, right? I just chose sexy because there's something about sexy that evokes empowerment with women. It's the reclaiming of sexy for me. And, reclaiming it from the Victoria's Secret models and, those lingerie models that make us feel bad about ourselves. It's really just, it's a book about empowerment and how to reclaim sexy for yourself. And sexy itself is just an acronym. And I'd love to go through what the S stands for, and the E and the X and the Y for the listeners, because, even if you're not into reading, you can get a lot of value from just listening to this radio show. So let's just dig right into the S. And I had already alluded to this, that the low vibration foods that I was eating that were causing me inflammation and pain and just like a lower vibration and fat on my body, all of it. So the S is sugar and flour. And flour, when you eat flour, which like in a cracker or bread, it actually does the same exact thing to your body as sugar, so that your body doesn't recognize these as two different things. Like you can eat like a bowl of cornflakes with sugar on top, or you can eat a bowl of sugar with some cornflakes on top, and it does not matter. Like your body just processes that same amount. You know what I'm saying? So sugar and flour are things that need to be removed from your diet if you're wanting to lose weight and also just to feel better. These are highly inflammatory foods. And do I eat sugar and flour sometimes? Absolutely. And I still drink alcohol. And it's not that I eliminated them forever, but these are things that need to be removed from your diet on a daily basis in order to get to your ideal body weight and also just to, feel better. I can't tell you enough how much pain my body feels when I regularly eat bread and sugary foods versus when I just take them out and just have them on like an occasional, birthday dinner, or it doesn't even matter. It doesn't have to have a reason to celebrate with those foods, but just not on a daily basis. Like I don't eat tortillas on a daily basis.
Are you saying that, do you have, so I know we have, we're going to go into a break, but I want to ask you this question, and then you can answer it, and we'll go to a break, and we'll come back, and we'll dive into the E. But what you're telling me, what I'm hearing you say is that your body actually communicates to you when you are putting something into it that does not work. Is that what you're saying?
Isn't that beautiful that my hip is a canary in a coal mine for my whole body? And my hip will start crying to me, in pain if I start eating specific foods. And when I start removing those foods, my hip is back to normal, like my left hip. It just behaves like a healthy hip when I'm not eating specific foods, but when I'm eating sugar and flour or lots of alcohol, there it is right there. I'm flared up again.
That is incredible. That's one of the things that I teach in the Crossroads Academy. As one of the workshops coming up is your body talking to you, and what is it saying? It's always talking to you. The difference is, are you listening, and are you willing to hear what it has to say? I don't know if you agree, but from my experience and doing a lot of energy work with people and reading frequencies, when the body is, like you say, inflamed, it has a resonance frequency to give you the message, which spells out like it's inflamed, it's on fire, it is angry, it has an angry, like something's happening and you're not listening. And so it's trying to tell you, and because you're not listening to the subtle hints, it's going deep and it's getting hardy with its message to you in pain so that you can actually stop and listen to it. And, you know, I love humanity, and at the same time, humanity doesn't love itself to hear the pain, the calling that the body's saying, and it's leading us all to health. Are we willing to listen? And that's a piece I love that you speak about, because you're right. You are a beautiful high-frequency human masquerading as a weight loss coach, and I love when you say that because it's so entirely true. So let's go into our first break. I know we talked about the S in your sexy diet, but we're going to come back from the break, and we're going to talk about the rest of the letters, the E, X, Y in the sexy. We're going to speak about how it relates to frequencies and how it has a connection to everything in your reality, especially with your health. So we will be right back.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the crossroads to awakening.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Crossroads to Awakening radio show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Crossroads to Awakening show. We are featured in a show on the Inspired Choices Network platform, which is an incredible high vibe platform, which is why I'm here. So thank you all for listening. We were speaking with Summer Peterson on her sexy diet, the book that is a bestseller. It is a weight loss book masquerading, or it is a high vibe book, actually, masquerading as a weight loss book. And the bonus with that is you get Summer Peterson, and she's an incredible human teaching incredible women how to get connected with their body, mind, soul, spirit, and health through high frequencies and being intentional and minding what you're putting into that sweet body of yours. So before the break, we spoke about the S in her sexy diet, and that is sugar and flour, and how those two things are high promoters of inflammation and wreak a lot of havoc in your body. And for her, it created pain, which is the most beautiful gift you can have from your body, is its willingness to not give up on sending you the message. So Thank you, Summer, for sharing that piece of us. I'm so excited to learn what the E stands for.
Yeah, so I just want to say one more thing about the S, because for me, I shared that I was born with hip dysplasia, and my hip dysplasia would flare up and cause me an intense amount of pain when I eat low vibration foods that happen to be the same foods that make us overweight. So that's my canary in a coal mine. Most people weren't born with hip dysplasia. And what we're seeing all over the globe, I live in America, 40% obesity rate in America. We're beginning to think of diabetes as a normal thing that people get as they age. And everybody knows somebody who has diabetes or high blood pressure. I mean, you know probably 40% of the people that you know have either diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, cancer. These things are normal for over 50% of the population. And so that's the feedback that other people are getting. And I want to really just, I really want people to hear that those are not normal. I don't want anybody to feel like these are the inevitabilities. These things, that feedback, if you get one of these diagnoses, that's the feedback that, okay, now it's really time to get rid of the sugar and flour. You may not be experiencing it as pain. You may experience it as brain fog or feeling fatigued at 3 p.m. or need 10 cups of coffee to get out of bed, whatever it is. This is the wake-up call to following just the protocol. These 4 simple steps of the Sexy Diet are absolutely going to change your life. So yes, removing that sugar and flour is going to just do so much for you in terms of health and weight loss and raising your vibration. And now, yes, let's get into the E, because this is really exciting stuff. So the E in Sexy is going to be eat your veggies. So here we are. Your mama told you to eat your veggies. Your doctor told you to eat your veggies. And so now some woman on the radio is telling you to eat your veggies. And I really want to just tell you that the number one way that we're going to put more food back in our diet that is a high vibration food, once you remove the sugar and flour, you want to start with the vegetable. I grew up, again, like in America, where a typical dinner plate looks like a big old piece of meat, big old potato, and some sort of vegetable. That's your typical American dinner. Mm-hmm. And we remove like the big old potato and we add more vegetables. So I really want people to reimagine their plates and to start seeing like at least a half of your plate is full of vegetables. Less of these starchy carbohydrate foods and more of the green vegetables. And I really like the diversity of color. As a matter of fact, I really encourage people to eat color every single day, all sorts of different color. Always go for color, whether you're getting it from herbs, spices, teas, fruits and vegetables. It's really important to diversify and get a lot of color. That's going to be really important for you. And because there's polyphenols, which is a specific code of antioxidant polyphenols, and they turn on your skinny genes. So I really talk about this a lot in my book as well. You thought that you were born with a gene and that you're doomed to have that gene forever. So if you were born with a gene that is blue eye, like I was born with a blue eye gene. So we always think of all of the genes that way, but the truth is not all genes work that way, Wendy. A lot of genes that we're born with, you can turn them on and turn them off. So we're all born with the obesity gene and we're all born with the skinny gene. And it's just a matter of turning on the skinny gene and turning off the obesity gene. And we do that with the polyphenols. It's really a powerful way to do that. This has been studied all over the world. And so eating color is going to get you where you want to go.
Okay, so let me interrupt you and ask a question again about the polyphenol. So what I'm hearing you say is polyphenols are found in an array of the colors of vegetables that we're consuming, or in vegetables in general, or a particular color?
Yeah, not every vegetable has polyphenols in it. But there's a lot of vegetables that do. Teas and herbs and spices all have polyphenols. And so that's a great way to get your polyphenols is from, adding teas, herbs, spices, and then specific vegetables. Yeah, it's all in my book, which vegetables to go for high polyphenol count.
Okay, good, because I'm thinking, wow, I eat a lot of vegetables. I always have. That's been my way of being. I was vegetarian for a long time. I just have an extreme love for vegetables. Yet, I fall into the category of still packing on like 30 pounds. 30 seems to be the number. I thank God it's not 50. Yeah. I'm just saying. But that's where I was
the number. Yep.
Yeah. So I can't wait to hear more, because I have a feeling you're going to support me with what it looks like being there must be a couple of more contributors to this little formula that's going on here to why I'm sitting at a 30 plus weight over what my natural weight has been. So let's lean in. Is there anything else about the E that we get to know before we move on to the X?
Let's move on to the X. And I really just want to lean into what you're saying, which is that you eat pretty clean. And that's what so many women come to me and they're like, Summer, I eat clean. I eat really healthy. Why am I overweight? And clean eating is adulting. Clean eating is a get-to. Clean eating is what you should be doing for life, but it is not a weight loss plan. So those pounds crept up because there was days that you didn't eat clean in your life over the years, and me included, and me forever included. And I'm not going to eat clean every day for the rest of my life. I was born a foodie, and so I love to have fun food sometimes, and I really I recommend everybody to pick the things that you really enjoy and find ways to integrate them, from time to time, just not daily. So clean eating isn't going to help you lose weight. How we lose weight is the X in sexy. So if you have weight to lose, then I teach women the art of intermittent fasting. I teach this to men as well. I mean, my husband has lost 20 pounds, and I've lost 30 pounds doing this. And so men and women both get to follow this exact same program. I typically just work with women in my practice. So the intermittent fasting, there's a whole lot of ways to do it. The number one rule, how I begin with women to teach them how to start intermittent fasting, is very simple. Just follow this one rule. If you take anything from this program, follow this one rule for the rest of your life. Do not eat anything after dinner, not even a single blueberry. Ooh. That rule alone is going to change your life. Do not eat anything after dinner, not even a single blueberry. We're getting about 30% of our calories after dinner, and this is the time that it is the most important time to stop eating and let your body stop with the digestion process. You can move, digest and assimilate your dinner, and then move into the parasympathetic when it's time for bed. And do not be eating and digesting and giving your body work to do when it should be repairing your body and allowing you to get deep, deep sleep. You'll sleep better, you'll dream better, you'll have so much more energy and regenerate your cells while you're sleeping if they're not busy eating. I'll tell you, there's so many people who not only are eating late night snacks while they're on the couch watching television, but there's a lot of people who actually wake up in the middle of the night, can't sleep, and they'll go down to the kitchen and eat more food.
Oh my gosh.
This is like a big no-no.
You have nailed me, because I am that late night snacker. I seriously, I'll be complete with dinner, and then I'll have hours with nothing. And then it's almost like when I want to stay up longer, my body sends a message like, hey, if you want more energy, go grab something to eat. That'll keep you up a little longer. And I literally will get up and grab like a handful of almonds, or I'm so guilty of grabbing like some chips and dip, no less, like something. I'm just grabbing whatever, because my mind is telling my body what it should be doing instead of my body telling my mind what it should be doing.
There you are. You just nailed it right there. And when you stop this habit of late night eating and really get that discipline down, because it's a discipline. This is one of the harder disciplines to do in my weight loss program, but it's so critical that you stop eating after dinner and give your body the rest that it needs. But here's the thing. Here's the good news, Wendy. The good news is that you've actually trained your body to produce hunger hormones late at night because you're always feeding your body. So you've trained your body like Pavlov to be hungry. Pavlov's dogs. Your body gets hungry because you're constantly feeding it at night. But when you stop doing that, your body will stop producing those hunger hormones. And I also have the Yuen Sexy will also help you not to really shut down those hunger hormones. There is going to be a little bit of discipline with the X and Sexy.
A little bit.
Once you break that habit, there's no going back. There's really no going back. You'll be so happy to just stop eating.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So yeah, this is so like eye-opening because I know you're doing a lot of stuff in your membership, which is insanely educational and supportive. We'll talk about that coming back, but we're going to head into another break while I hang my head with, I'm grateful that we nailed it. And I'm realizing now, I get it. I was so out of connection with what it could be that I was getting frustrated. And I'm so grateful that you're on the show and that you're sharing with everyone all these things. So we'll come right back. We've been listening to Summer Peterson and her amazing sexy diet. She is an incredible human teaching incredible things on this planet. And we're on the Crossroads to Awakening show on Inspired Choices Network. We will see you right after this break because we get to dive right into the why of sexy, and I get to just get over myself and be disciplined. We'll be right back.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening. This is Crossroads to Awakening radio show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now back to the program.
Okay, so as I'm sitting here looking at the S, the E, and the X, what does the X stand for again?
Extend your period of fasting. I had to get really creative with the X.
Yeah, well, hey, that works. Extend your period of fasting. So before we go further, I see that there's a question in the chat room, and it's, are there any tips for people who generally work into the later hours of the day? And if that is their normal, is there any wiggle room?
So the next step of fasting after don't eat anything after dinner, not even a single blueberry, is going to be shortening your feeding window. And that looks like you'd stop eating after dinner, whether that's 6 o'clock for you or 9 o'clock for you, whatever it is for you if you work late. You're not going to want to eat, and you want to give yourself about an 8-hour feeding window. So let's say that most people will eat dinner around 6 o'clock, let's say. So, or we'll just say 7 o'clock. I think that's more probably average for a lot of our listeners. If you finish eating dinner at 7 p.m., I want you to start your breakfast the next day at 11. So giving yourself an 8-hour feeding window. So you're getting all of your normal calories. You're not trying to decrease your calories at this point. You're just eating them all in a shorter feeding window, and that is incredibly healthy for you. Gives your body a huge break from constantly digesting and assimilating food. And so all that extra energy goes to healing your body and gives you a lot more energy for, mindset, for, to have your mind doing something. You get so much more energy when you eat in a shorter period of time. And then if you really want to get deeper into fasting, you would do 2 days a week of real fasting, a 24-hour fast where you only eat at dinner. So, and that would be like a 500-calorie dinner for women and a 600-calorie dinner for men.
I see, Summer, what she's saying is her dinner is around 10 or 11 p.m. So when would what would that look like?
So I would suggest that she don't eat dinner at 10 or 11 p.m. unless she's going to bed at 2 a.m. I would actually suggest not eating dinner when you get home from a late night at work. I would suggest learning to eat more of your calories in the earlier part of the day, and the why is really going to help that, but you don't have to eat dinner after work. I'm sure there's breaks that you can eat your dinners, eat your food, and have the first meal of the day be more like your dinner and get a lot more food there before you go to work if you're working late at night. I really don't recommend working late at night, coming home and having a big meal and going straight to bed. It's going to be not good for your sleep, and it's not good for your circadian rhythm. It's not natural for your body to be eating late at night. And so if we can tweak it so you're eating before you go to work, a bigger meal, and then having really healthy, high-fat foods on your snack break, lunch break at work, rather than coming home and having dinner, you're going to lose weight and sleep better.
She said that she goes to bed around 3-ish, so I can imagine she gets to play around with her 8-hour feeding window in that space.
So absolutely.
If
3 a.m. is your bedtime, just make sure that you eat a minimum of like before midnight. You want to be finished eating before midnight if 3 a.m. is your normal bedtime.
Awesome. So
extending,
you said something about shortening your eating window. What did you mean by that?
Okay, so again, that would be eating from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Or if you're eating at midnight, we rewind the clock 8 hours and start eating like, 4 o'clock in the afternoon till midnight. Am I doing the math right?
Oh, okay. So what?
Right.
So what you're saying is, for most people, most humans get to have an 8-hour eating window, and no matter how you tweak it, for the time during the day, you're looking at only 8 hours, which is, I suppose, for most people, a shortening of their eating time, because I guess oftentimes people will get up.
Everybody.
Get up. Yeah, they think, I got to eat breakfast because I just woke up, and that could be 6 in the morning, and then they're still having dinner at maybe 5, 6 at night. So that's 12 hours. So I totally understand what you're saying. That makes so much sense. I generally don't eat until the afternoon myself. I'll have a couple of cups of coffee with some cream in it, and that's it. And then later I'll have a meal, and that could contribute to how maybe eating later comes into play. But I have a shorter eating window if I don't include coffee, or is coffee part of food with cream in it?
Well, that one is really debatable. So first of all, most people are putting sugar in their coffee, and that's food. If there's been a kind of a revolution around people just putting pure fat. So what that looks like is like a bulletproof style coffee with coconut oil. It's a derivative of coconut oil. It's called MCT oil, and maybe a tablespoon of grass-fed butter, and blend it up. That is just this pure fat. It does not do anything to your insulin levels. So you're not really in this digesting. It's just pure brain food. For those people who are following the ketogenic diet, this is a really popular way to kind of break your fast without breaking your fast. Some people also get away with just doing pure coconut cream or whole, not milk, and even half and half is debatable because there is lactose in that, but whole whipping cream, that whipping cream that you can buy, the very, 35%. Very high fat, very high fat milk, basically, with the whipping cream. And some people do really well with that, and it's basically called a crutch, if you're talking about fasting with these coffees and with creams and things in them. It's a fasting crutch, but for weight loss, they really help. If you're having a hard time getting to that 8-hour window, these crutches are extremely helpful and beneficial, and I absolutely recommend people use these crutches rather than just eating in a 12-hour window because they can't do it. So I say an enthusiastic yes to having heavy whipping cream or a bulletproof style coffee for breakfast to get you to that 8 hours, but not sugar. So an enthusiastic no to any creamers that have sugar, even artificial sweeteners in it, not bueno.
Yeah, I have. It's funny. I used to have sugar in my coffee, and then I just decided that I was cutting out sugar, and it was nearly the only place that I would have sugar. Like on the occasion, I would have that craving and satiate it with a piece of dark chocolate or something. But sugar, I had that like full-on commitment. I'm like, you know what? I only have sugar in my coffee. I'm cutting that out, and it was an instantaneous decision. And I never look back. And if I accidentally, my husband will bring home a coffee and forget. And he'll grab me, let's say it's double cream, double sugar. And I can't even like get it down. I'm like, oh, good Lord. So it's funny how it becomes like, oh, this is pretty good. I accidentally had to use the 35% cream when I had nothing else. It actually wasn't that bad. I mean, I didn't put as much in, and I see where the high fat content, it gives it a different kind of flavor. So for me to get me to that space of eating later is a perfect opportunity. So let's talk about the why and sexy. Tell me about that one.
Okay. Well, the why is actually my favorite one of all the 4 steps of the sexy diet. So why stands for yes to healthy fats. And we've been told, Wendy, our whole lives that we should eat low fat. Fat's bad. Fat was the devil. Fat was really bad. Fat makes you fat. And this was a massive lie. So fat is actually the macronutrient. It's an essential macronutrient, by the way. So protein is an essential macronutrient. We have to have protein, the amino acids. And there are essential fats as well. We have to have fat in our diet. There's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. You do not need carbohydrates to live. And the interesting thing is that we base our entire diet on massive quantities of carbohydrates. And so we really need to look at that and rethink it. Really, carbohydrates are not important at all. But fat is. And what I love about fat is that fat tastes good. And fat turns off your hunger hormones and turns on your satiety hormone. So it is your friend. Fat is your friend. But I'm not saying go eat a stick of butter or a can of lard. So there are healthy fats, and we find those specifically, the monounsaturated fats are the healthiest fats on planet Earth, right? We want to eat the fats that come from avocados. Nuts and seeds tend to be pretty high in the monounsaturated fats, olives and olive oil, which is why everybody who eats lots of olive oil tends to be very healthy in those regions. It's heart healthy fats, and it also, the olive oil has polyphenols in it, to circle back to our conversation about 25 minutes ago when we talked about turning on your skinny genes with polyphenols. Another great polyphenol is extra virgin olive oil or olives. And so you really want to include more olive oil. You want to include avocados in your diet, but also don't be scared of a moderate amount of saturated fat. I like coconut, fat from coconut cream. I blended that in some tea this morning. And that was just absolutely delicious and creamy and frothy and so satiating. And and even from, healthier meats, I really, when you eat meats, please eat organic and grass-fed. I talk about this with my children. I have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old son, and they want to know why mommy doesn't take them to places like McDonald's. And it's really because the animals are such a low vibration because these are tortured animals. There's a quality of a farmer who is, on a small farm raising animals for slaughter, but are in very humane conditions versus what we know is going on in these factory farms where these animals are just tortured. And that quality of meat, talk about low vibration. I would rather eat vegetarian than eat a really low quality meat. So please invest in organic and grass-fed.
Yeah, I second that as well.
With the fish.
Yeah, I often I think about that frequently, and I wonder, everyone always has the rebuttal, oh, well, they're supposed to be here, right? They're here to feed us, or that's what they've always done. And yes, as much as that is true, they haven't always been herded and treated as like, energy, soulless beings.
Yeah.
In almost a sacrificial space of like, okay, well, we're only going to breed you and have you for sake of food, and it's in a very like industrialized, commercialized situation.
Cramped,
and those
evil, disgusting conditions. Oh, it's just awful. It's horrific. Yeah.
And it's not something that I would want to even been exposed to in any way. And I know I've watched particular documentaries that are frightening, and that frequency is really, really low from that space as well. So I totally...
And it lives in our body. We are what we eat, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. So it does matter.
Yes, the healthy fat as well, like with these meats. I wouldn't be scared to eat a meat because, a beef that has, saturated fat in it. If you're eating it from a grass-fed source, a respected animal, those fats are quite fine. Just don't pair them with the bun. Don't eat the burger with the bun, and because that's flour. And definitely eat vegetables with it, and to help with the digestion, you need to have fiber to move the protein, and then the healthy fats. I mean, they just lead to satiety. I cannot stress enough that carbohydrates and sugar makes you hungry. That's what turns on your hunger hormones. So when you really, sometimes there's a little bit of white knuckle kind of like, oh God, I really want to eat my chips. I really want to eat my candy bar, whatever it is that you're used to eating every single day. And sometimes in the beginning, there's a little bit of that white knuckle, like discipline. But I can promise you, the more fat that you eat straight away, the less those cravings will be, because fat turns off your hunger hormones and turns on your satiety hormones. So the other day, my sister-in-law was asking me like how to get enough fat, and she's allergic to avocados. And I took a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. I got it at the farmer's market. It's a really high quality extra virgin olive oil. And I put a little bit of I didn't have pickle juice, but it's the same kind of thing with you take like a sauerkraut kind of fermentation, the juice in the bottom of the jar. This was a fermented beet juice, really beautiful, vibrant red. And I just mixed those together and just took it as a shot. And I'll tell you, I was so full for hours. It was so funny. And just to show her, like, this is something that you can do if you're really feeling like you're craving something and you want to turn. It's my experience of hunger, Wendy, used to be like a fire in my stomach. I ate a lot. I was embarrassed about it. I would hide the food from my husband because I was embarrassed that I ate more than he did. My appetite was enormous when I was eating a lot of sugar and processed carbohydrates. And you could not, fill this hunger. I mean, I was just always hungry, and I just wanted to eat more and more. And it's like a fire in your stomach, and the fire extinguisher to that fire is fat. There's no way around it. There's not enough food in the world to turn off that hunger unless that food is fat. So extra virgin olive oil, avocados, nuts and seeds have a moderate amount of fat. You just want to make sure with every meal that you're getting, don't be scared to put some grass-fed butter on your broccoli. I mean, that is a gorgeous combination. It tastes so good. My husband's an addict, a broccoli addict, because I put grass-fed butter on it. He wants it with every dinner, and it just makes it taste good. And so just don't be scared to use fat. Take out the carbs. They actually make you hungry. Add the veggies. I know veggies are a form of carbohydrate, but they're so low in carbs because they're so high in fiber, and they're so good for you. And when you pair that with a healthy fat, whether it's an extra virgin olive oil or grass-fed butter, some coconut oil, whatever you're feeling for that day, that fat is going to really support you, and it's healthy for you.
Oh my goodness. Well, do you know how many people listening to this are going to be thrilled that what you're saying is, yes, eat great fats, eat beautiful fats, because it is literally the key, right? What I'm hearing you say is the key to turning on your skinny jeans when you satiate that hunger that tells your brain to pick something that's most likely a carbohydrate, like a sugar or a flour product.
Always.
And it's going to shut off your need to go grab some like really quick, not so great for you foods, which is what's putting on the pounds. Not only like stopping eating after your dinner, not even a single blueberry is your famous line, just knowing that you can actually satiate yourself with the fats that we have readily available to us. And what you just said about the beet juice, fermented beet juice, and the extra virgin olive oil, the organic olive oil, that is amazing, because if that could stop, even if I utilize that in the morning, like even before coffee, let's say, I could go, or even later in the afternoon, even longer without thinking, you know, I'm hungry and I'm not 100% sure like what I could put in my body right now that would be a contribution instead of just a quick fix if I'm not prepared, like with a prepped something or other. So that's an extremely...
And it's brain fuel. It's pure brain fuel, plus from the fermented vegetable juice, wherever you buy your sauerkraut or whatever from that. That's like taking a probiotic as well as just getting, you know, squashing your hunger hormones. And that I mean, this is the distinction. There's a huge difference between hunger, authentic hunger, and these intense cravings. And those intense cravings are really just, they're there because of your out of whack hormones that are fueled by poor diet. And it's so easy to fix this by just removing the poor diet foods and replacing them with foods that's going to put out that fire and satiate you. Plus, these fatty acids are essential. We need them for brain fuel. The more fat we give our brain, the better, the more mental clarity that we have, which we really want for our meditations and, you know, just to be productive in the world.
Yeah, well, I know we only have a couple minutes left of the show, so I wanted to say a couple of things. With, you know, and I know that having a well-fed, highly energized, well-rested body is a high-frequency space where everything in your reality can actually follow that, whether it's your business, your family relationship, your love, your money, anything that you're looking at. When you're feeling well because you're actually creating that space with your brain, with your stomach, all the communications that all that has, you're creating a high-vibe space for everyone around you, and including yourself, and it changes the way you see the world. It really does. It is a key to your reality that if you haven't discovered it, it is probably one of the last things that I've yet to dive into is my health and wellness, and I'm in that space right now. So inside of my community, the Crossroads Academy, we are learning, I'm bringing in experts, and Summer, you're one of them. We're learning how to look at each individual area of our life and raise our frequency so that we can achieve more, manifest from a clean space, and go after our visions, our dreams, and have them, and have a higher frequency, even emotional experience, instead of the low frequency that holds you down like a weight. And so this is highly imperative. To have you in my community supporting others is an absolute blessing and a gift. And you also have a membership. So I'm going to direct people to bodysoulshine.com so they can find you and jump in. You have an incredible community, which I believe you're open right now for receiving new members. But we'll send you there. If you're listening to this, you will find in the show notes a link to get a hold of Summer, how to find her on social media so that you can connect with her and have her support. When you do that, you will be so incredibly blessed by her presence. She cares so much about you and what you get to know and be and who you get to be in this reality in order to be your best self, to be joyful, to be high vibe. It's who she is. And I'm so grateful to have you here, Summer. You are an incredible human. I loved you from the day I met you, and I always will. Yeah. And I'm excited to share your message with the world. So go buy her Sexy Diet book. It's on Amazon. Just type in Sexy Diet or Summer Peterson and go to bodysoulshine.com and find her. And raise your vibe by jumping into her community and learning how you can be connected with yourself on a deeper level. So I want to thank everyone for listening. Thank you, Summer, for being here. It's been an absolute joy to have you. I can't wait to play more with you in the community And thank you for everyone listening. I'm so excited. We'll see you next week, everyone. Thanks for showing up.
Thank you for choosing to listen to the Crossroads to Awakening radio show. Wendy Paquette will return next Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We look forward to you joining us again. Until then, enjoy your journey, and we'll